And then Capricorn Clark proceeded to see Diddy kick Cassie brutally and stomp her down for about 50 minutes. No, 50 yards. It was a lot. Now, a couple of questions. We're going to talk about who Mia is and who Jane Doe is. I don't think it's KK because whatever, but there's more. Hold on, y'all. All right. Cares about that. Let's get into the real mess. Capricorn Clark stepped in. She sashayed into that courtroom. She had a high-waisted, long, to her feet, pinstripe pencil skirt. I said, oh, look at you. She had these burgundy pumps with, burgundy slip-ons with like these rhinestone detail. She had on a white shirt. She looked amazing. Her hair was in the central part, pulled back, and she had on some glasses. Given sexy secretary, but court appropriate, right? Zandra Roberts, thank you so much for the super chat. What's up, you guys? We are back. We're outside the courthouse. We are back. Capricorn Clark just destroyed Diddy, and I have all the notes, and you know I'm going to give y'all the dramatic reinterpretation. People are drop kicking someone. He's pulling chairs out like a southern gentleman. Well, okay, right? They do a little offside about DNA testing because there's a witness saying that there was partial female DNA found on Kid Cudi's car and the Molotov cocktail. We got to talk about that all later because Diddy is not coming back from this. Okay, so get this. Capricorn Clark comes in, and she said she was born in San Fran, but she lived in LA, right? She said she came out in 1996. She started music. She was an intern at Just Jam Records. Y'all want a preview? She literally said that Diddy said that she was going to murk her, Kid Cudi, and Cassie. Diddy made Cassie switch places with Capricorn Clark. He kidnapped Capricorn Clark, would not release her until Cassie traded herself in, okay? So anyway, right? She started out, and that's just, listen, that's not even the whole thing. She started off in an intern for Def Jam Records. Her mom passed away. Her dad passed away. I do want to say this. I feel like Diddy is always picking someone and finding their inner hurts, right?
Kidnapped by Diddy? Believe it. Capricorn Clark just told a stunned jury that the hip-hop mogul locked her in a gutted office for 5 straight days, forced her through endless lie detector tests, and warned that if she failed, she'd be dumped in the East River. That revelation froze the courtroom, but it's only the first shockwave. In the next few minutes, you'll hear Clark's full timeline. A 5 a.m. raid on Kid Cudi's house, death threats that echoed for years, and the morning she says Diddy kicked Cassie into the street. By the end, you'll decide, terrifying truth or crafted tale. Roll the tape. The live testimony starts now.
Yeah, as far as the cross-examination goes, for the most part, it seems very casual. We were thinking that it might be aggressive, it might be combative, but for the most part, Cassie has been very forthcoming in answering these questions.
Capricorn Clark steps onto the stand, voice trembling, and suddenly the trial's sterile legal language turns raw. For jurors, she isn't just another witness. She's a former insider who lived 8 years under Sean Diddy Combs' roof. Prosecutors remind everyone that this is no tabloid feud. Combs now faces federal sex trafficking and racketeering counts after his September 2024 arrest, accused of running freak-off parties that span 2 decades. Clark frames those headlines with a chilling personal prologue. On her first day, he warned that if her link to Suge Knight brought trouble, "I'd have to kill you." Instantly, the courtroom tension spikes. Viewers realize this isn't just a celebrity clash, it's a story about power, paranoia, and a boss who allegedly weaponized fear. Hold that thought, because what Clark recounts next will make that opening threat feel like a mild introduction.
Los Angeles. I expect them to be testifying about their response to Kid Cudi's home when his black Porsche 911 was firebombed outside of his home in the Hollywood Hills.
Jewelry goes missing from Diddy's home, and Clark says she becomes the scapegoat. Bodyguard Uncle Paulie searches her apartment, finds nothing. Yet the next morning drives her to a dilapidated, gutted Manhattan building. Locked doors, cigarette smoke, and a hulking polygraph examiner who sneers, "Fail, and you're headed for the East River." For 5 straight days, security escorts shuttle her between that room and her house, forbidding escape until the tests clear her. Each evening, she returns home physically free but psychologically caged, only to start over at dawn. Clark tells jurors she was petrified, just trying to survive, insisting she endured the ordeal to prove innocence, while managers inside Bad Boy Records allegedly turned a blind eye. The testimony lands like a cinematic hostage thriller, except she claims the villain was her employer. By day 5, the polygraph remains inconclusive, but the power dynamic is crystal clear. and the jury's eyes are fixed on Clark's tears.
Cassie, about messages surrounding her involvement in so-called freak-offs. In one 2009 message, Cassie wrote to Diddy, "When we used to freak off, when we were so in love, there were no questions asked."
December 2011, Los Angeles. A violent pounding rattles Clark's apartment door at 5:30 a.m. Through the peephole, she sees Diddy pacing, furious, a handgun visible. "Get dressed, we're going to kill Scott," she testifies, he barked, enraged that Cassie Ventura was dating Kid Cudi, born Scott Mescudi. Clark, terrified, climbs into an Escalade with Diddy and bodyguard Ruben. The firearm rests on his lap. At Cudi's house, Combs storms inside while Clark stays in the car, secretly phoning Cassie's burner to warn her. Moments later, Diddy returns, even angrier after spotting Clark on the phone. A brief car chase with Cudi ends when police sirens appear, yet Clark can't leave. According to her, Diddy vows she can go home only after Cassie promises Cudi won't involve law enforcement. "If you don't convince him, I'll kill all of you," she recalls him saying. It's a sequence straight out of an action film, except we're listening to it under oath.
Cassie Ventura not only wanted to participate in these freak-offs, but that she enjoyed them in the beginning. In one text, as you mentioned, she said, "I'm always ready to freak off."
Hours later, Clark follows Diddy back to his LA rental with Cassie and bodyguard Ruben. She testifies that Combs appears in a robe and underwear, then, without warning, begins kicking Cassie in the back, driving her fetal-positioned body out the door and into the street. Clark freezes. Ruben, the guard, does nothing. Desperate, she dials other security chiefs. No answer. Finally, she calls Cassie's mother. "I'm in over my head. I can't call the police, but you can." Diddy allegedly threatens, "I should kill you. I should cut her face," before storming inside. The moment crystallizes Clark's dilemma, a witness to violence but trapped by loyalty, fear, and NDAs. For jurors and viewers at home, the scene reveals why so many insiders stayed silent for years, and it escalates the moral stakes of this trial.
Day 10 of the criminal trial against Sean Diddy Combs. Today we are expecting testimony from Capricorn Clark, Combs' former assistant. Last week we heard from...
Beyond headline violence, Clark paints a picture of day-to-day psychological siege. Typical shift, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., no meal breaks, constant phone calls. Stress triggers alopecia. Hair falls out in clumps. HR later calculates $80K in unpaid overtime. Diddy allegedly rips up the paper on the spot. When she mutters, "I hate it here," he allegedly shoves her across the lawn, screaming that she can't have a life outside his orbit. Fired soon after for a minor vacation paperwork error, she says Diddy sneers, "You'll never work again. I'll make you kill yourself." The testimony reframes the case. It's not just about sensational moments, it's about a sustained ecosystem of control where exhaustion, financial leverage, and humiliation kept staff silent. Viewers start connecting the dots. Power isn't only physical, it's economic and emotional too.
As time went on, her reluctance to participate was only because she wanted more from the relationship. You read that text message that was also presented.
Clark's final revelations chart a map of enemies, paranoia, and hip-hop rivalries weaponized into intimidation. On day one of her job, Diddy allegedly drags her to Central Park after dark, grilling her over ties to Suge Knight and warning, "If anything happens, I'll have to kill you." Years later at MTV headquarters, she overhears him telling security he likes guns and has unfinished business with 50 Cent, now producing a Netflix docuseries on these very allegations. The message, Clark claims, was constant: stay loyal or become collateral damage. Layer these threats onto the kidnapping, gun raid, and unpaid labor, and a 20-year pattern emerges. A culture where violence and celebrity clout insulated Combs from consequences. As the prosecution rests, jurors must weigh whether these stories form a mosaic of coercion or a patchwork of exaggerations. Either way, tomorrow's witness could tip the balance, so don't blink.
Cassie as a consensual partner in these freak-offs. Now, the prosecution had to know about these messages, right? So why not bring them up while they were questioning her?
The prosecution fires its final volley. A rapid-fire roll call of witnesses: Regina Ventura, Dawn Richard, and Kid Cudi, each echoing Capricorn Clark's tale of guns, threats, and freak-off coercion. The gallery leans in as Clark repeats Diddy's ultimatum. "If you guys don't convince him, I'll kill all of you. If you tell on him, he's gonna hurt us all." A ripple of disbelief sweeps the jury box. One member's jaw literally drops. For a heartbeat, the courtroom is silent. No coughing, no shuffling, just the weight of 20 years of alleged terror hanging in the air. Prosecutors stitch those stories into a single narrative, a 2-decade scheme to coerce women at gunpoint and keep them inside a drug-fueled orbit. Yet the defense counters that Clark is embellishing, and Sean Combs, who pleaded not guilty after his 2024 arrest on trafficking and racketeering charges, maintains the witnesses are bitter ex-employees. Tomorrow, a forensic accountant is slated to dissect Diddy's finances. One number could swing everything. So was Capricorn Clark's testimony the smoking gun or smoke and mirrors? Comment yes if you believe her, no if you're unconvinced, and tell us why. Smash that like button. If you want wall-to-wall live coverage, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next witness, and be here at 9 a.m. sharp, because this trial is only getting louder.